Alright, we are in round 3. We're going to keep this hand. Need some lands, but we've got some pretty good stuff going for it if it pans out for us here. All the various fight spell iterations. Aha, the mirror match, huh? Nobody expects the magnifying glass. Hey, timely land. Let's get our Dawn-Griff down there. And start beating in. Could have played the Ironclad Slayer, but still hopeful we can find something to do with that. Alright. So opponent still has 3 mana up. Passing. Draw the land. What shall we do? Let's go Griffspoon here. Swing for 5. And let's just play the Slayer. So, all the fight spells a boy could ask for. Do kind of want my opponent to tap out if I decide to actually cast a fight spell. Alright, well, can still kind of take care of that. What the nice thing is we can just swing with our flyers still. Oh, prey upon. Okay. All right. I'm kind of glad he didn't attack. To be honest, I don't really want to make that trade. So let's see here. So I can clear shot. I probably just clear shot with the Noose Constrictor and discard if I have to, if he pumps, which seems fine. Like, there's not really a way you can save this. Yeah. And we'll bash in. And I can kill him next turn, basically by discarding my hand. Alright, looks like he's digging pretty hard here. He did actually have the combat trick, but because Clear Shot is such a good card, couldn't save it from him. Looks like we're running a pretty similar deck to our opponent, which is kind of odd. Mostly because, I don't know, didn't feel like there was a ton of, didn't feel like there was a ton of green and white to necessitate two decks going around in the packs, but what do I know? All right, purging the Constrictor. So we were probably directly passing to our opponent, honestly. Ah, Somberwald Stag. All right, well, let's Griff Spoon again. Can't do anything else. Our deck seems to be having a hard time hitting 5 mana today. 5's the magic number here. Alright, so we got game 1. Magnifying Glass was the only out-of-place card there. Everything else looks, like I said, almost identical to our deck. Second, Woodcutter's Grit. It plays around Prey Upon nicely, and it plays around Angelic Purge really nicely because he has to sacrifice a permanent and then we're protected. And it's a nice combat trick. We might just bring in the Grit and maybe dump the Prey Upon. I don't like Prey Upon against decks that have access to cheap combat tricks. I'd rather have one-sided stuff like Rabid Bite or Clear Shot or Bound by Moonsilver. Bound by Moonsilver looks really nice against our opponent. Alright, so let's just make that swap and run it back here. Let's see, 2 white mana. We're on the draw. Let's see. So this hand does require at least 2 more lands before we can even play our 4 drops. This hand doesn't seem great, does it? We do have Rabid Bite Slayer, so if we find the green mana, we can at least go Slayer Rabid Bite, but I'm not a huge fan of this hand. Something seems a bit off with it. It's a little bit top heavy. Let's mulligan. Alright, this hand's better. Definitely bottoming that. Well, guess we won't have to be worrying about our red spell unless we shuffle. We do actually have a shuffle effect in the deck. Which is kind of funny. We were going to go Burn From Within into our... We were going to go splash card into splash card, huh? Alright. Well, if you're going to draw your splash card, draw the one land you have in your deck to splash for it. I think we'll take it. Okay. So, guess the play is Inquisitor and then pass. So we have the Bound by Moonsilver once he presumably flips his Lone Rider. Okay. Survivalist. So we got 4 lands here. So I can go Lunarch Mantle, Griff's Boon. We know he's got Confront the Unknown in there. Unfortunately, we're just a wee bit behind on the race at the moment. We also know he has Purge, which putting all your eggs in one basket can be pretty dangerous for that as well. But my other play is Bound by Moonsilver on the Survivalist, I guess, which isn't bad, actually. Let's Bound by Moonsilver the Survivalist. Let's Griftspoon our Logger and attack with it. This does a few things. It lets us swing with the Logger here, which is nice. But it also lets us block with our Inquisitor against his Lone Rider and his Hinterland Logger. Since our Logger really doesn't want to block either of them anyway, this seems like it's acceptable. Our opponent very well might just sack the Survivalist and purge the Griftspoon, which might not even be a bad play for them, but keeps us a little bit safer. Alright. No other play. Yeah, it might be time to just Lunarch Mantle our Logger. Yeah. Like, if our opponent had a combat trick, they would have played it. So let's just keep bashing in here. And yes, I could have put that on the Inquisitor, but I'd rather keep all of his stuff at bay. I guess I shouldn't have... Well, I was going to say I shouldn't have tapped my blue mana, but I wouldn't have been able to play my Behemoth anyway. I guess what's nice is if he purges, now that I have Lunarch Mantle, I can actually just sacrifice it in response. Alright, Lone Rider now, I gotta move the Bound by Moonsilver, but that's not a huge deal. I mean, it's certainly a deal. But could be worse. I guess the main issue is there's that fifth land has been the bane of my existence here. So I guess we move the bound onto the It That Rides is one. I'm not sure what I'm sacking though. Guess we're sacking a Plains. So maybe we just tap it first. Oh, the permanent's got it. Okay. Wait, that's not what I want to do. I want to move Bound by Moonsilver onto you. Sack this. And then swing with, well, play the Builder, I guess. Get our land back. Can play it. And then we swing with the Logger. And I guess we can double block the Backwoods Survivalist, which is kind of nice. So we're one land short of being able to cheat out our Behemoth. I mean, if he attacks with his 2-power guys, we're going to block them both. Otherwise, I think we are still probably just double blocking the Survivalist here. Okay. Hey, we got that magical 5th land. That's awesome. So let's get in with the logger again. Play the cult. And pass. Okay. So now our opponent can block our logger, but we can just sack the... We can move the Bound by Moonsilver on his courier now, and then he can't do anything. So we're actually fine. Well, he does have the Swift Spinner, though, huh? I guess that does create a problem, doesn't it? The Swift Spinner is gonna let him block. Huh. Well, I do sort of need to play a spell. Huh. Alright, I guess we play the Dawn Griffin, pass. I mean, even if my logger flips, it's not going to be able to... Or is it? I mean, it can attack into the courier and the Swift Spinner, but the problem is it'll kill them both, but it will still kill my logger. Maybe that just shouldn't matter. Maybe I should just flip my logger. It would have let his logger flip too, I guess. Actually, I guess if I had... Well, it still wouldn't have been lethal. If I'd flipped my logger and moved the Bound... Well, we'll see. Maybe that'll still come up, actually. I can't play my Behemoth right now, but... I mean, my opponent is still just a purge away from getting that It That Rides As One back. Alright, Magnifying Glass is not so scary. So, looks like we probably will go for the flip here. Okay, so let's flip our guys. It's going to flip our opponent's dude too, but we also get a 2-2, which is nice. So, ideally here, we get to move the Bound by Moonsilver on the Byway Courier, swing with the Shredder and the Dawn Griff. And if he doesn't have anything, he is dead. But if he does have something, we got to deal with that It That Rides As One, which shouldn't be, which really won't be easy. Okay. So it looks like... Oh, so we can't move it. That's actually... That's smart thinking. That means my opponent was dead, though. Okay. My opponent might still be dead. Maybe not dead yet, but really close. Like, what happens if I swing with everything? Does my opponent even have good blocks? I don't think so. My opponent blocks Timber Shredder on Cult of the Waxing Moon. My opponent blocks Byway Courier on Shredder, takes 3. My opponent blocks Swift Spinner on Dawn Griff, Wolf on Wolf. So it's exactly lethal. And at worst, if he's going to get me, I can just play the Behemoth. So I don't think that he has fantastic blocks here, right? He goes Shredder on Cult. He goes Spinner on Griff, Courier on Shredder. Like, he has to double block the Shredder, which means he blocks there, and he blocks there. I think he's dead if he doesn't have anything, and it seems like because he made the sacrifice, he doesn't have something that can deal with this. And like I said, at worst, we'll sack whatever he's gonna got, and we'll just get a Behemoth out there. All right, looks like our opponent conceded. We got the match. Ended up going 2-1, which is certainly satisfactory overall. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you appreciated it. Hope you enjoyed the draft. Hope you enjoyed the deck. We'll be back for more very soon. Thank you. Have a good evening.